Vice President Kamala Harris has turned down the opportunity to speak at Bitcoin 2024. This gives the advantage to Donald Trump, and it's drawing a lot of criticism from the crypto industry, as well as some saying give Kamala the benefit of the doubt. And Coinbase is launching a massive tokenization project following in BlackRock's steps, and Senator Lummis is going to announce at the Bitcoin conference a bill which proposes the United States to add Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. We're going to break this down and much more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's start by taking a look at the Ethereum spot ETF trading volumes, because for the second day in a row, the volume surpassed $1 billion. So we're seeing a lot of demand. And look, the market right now is not looking incredible, right? The price is not pumping. In fact, it's pulling back a bit. But smart money knows the deal. They're buying up where they can because we're still in a bull market. We have not hit the blow off top phases yet. We still have I think the final and fifth wave, as some would say, and we are going to see higher prices, but we have to be patient. Now, of course, that's not guaranteed. We're talking probabilities. So there's a higher probability of us still being in a bull market versus that's the end of the cycle, right? So just keep that in mind, folks. In addition, Hashdex has filed an S1 for a combined spot Bitcoin and ETH ETF. So essentially, they're building an index ETF. And we've talked about this, that this would come down the line as more altcoin ETFs came along. And we know there's been applications filed for the Solana ETF, and there's talks about XRP ETF, but those are further down the line. But once they come, they will be put into baskets, which people can invest in these baskets of top 5, top 10, and so forth. So guys, see what's happening here? The on-ramps being built for institutional money, for RIAs, and much more, allowing more people to access the asset class. So this is incredibly bullish and shows there's demand for these products. So all of these Wall Street firms are in a race to get their ETFs and different products out so they can get the business and, of course, make money off the fees. Now, guys, we got to talk about Kamala Harris, who's the vice president and the current Democratic candidate for the election. Well, folks, her team was in contact with David Bailey, who's the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine and the Bitcoin Conference. And there was talks about her attending this conference to speak. Well, she ultimately turned this down, and I think it's a very bad move on her part. She's off to a bad start already when it comes to crypto. So David Bailey says Kamala Harris will not be speaking at the Bitcoin conference. No surprise. What can she say to us when she's actively imprisoning developers, forcing our industry overseas, attacking proof of work? It would have been a disaster for her. All eyes on Trump now. So this certainly gives Trump the upper hand. Now, crypto is one issue. There are many other issues, and this is not a political podcast, so we're not going to go into those things. But we want to ensure that crypto is a nonpartisan issue. It shouldn't be a Democrat or Republican issue. Unfortunately, Elizabeth Warren poisoned the well and created all kinds of nonsense with her anti-crypto army campaign, and she weaponized Gary Gensler to come after the industry. So we are still feeling the after effects of that. And although many Democrats have turned their back on Elizabeth Warren, we need big-time Democrats like Harris and others to come out and support the industry and kind of take it off the table for as far as an election issue, because it shouldn't be. But look, if this is the game the Democrats want to play, they will get their asses handed to them. We saw it on Super Tuesday and the primaries. Now, this is drawing a lot of criticism from the industry, rightfully so, but some are still optimistic that she may support crypto ultimately, but we'll have to wait and see. Here, Cameron Winklevoss said the Biden-Harris administration didn't ignore crypto. They didn't laugh at crypto. They tried to fight and kill crypto. If you operate in bad faith and want to extend a sincere olive branch, you first need to demonstrate in good faith. First, fire Gary Gensler. 2, end Operation Choke Point 2.0. 3, start Operation Heimlich, a coordinated effort to bank the crypto industry. Number 4, withdraw illegitimate SEC enforcement actions. Number 5, commit to sidelining Elizabeth Warren from all crypto legislative efforts. Proof of good faith. So he's essentially saying talk is cheap. You got to put the work in. And the Democrats have done so much damage that they need to go 0 to 100 miles per hour here in supporting crypto. And that's why I thought that the opportunity to speak at the Bitcoin conference was kind of a layup here for Kamala Harris, but she dropped the ball, and it's pathetic. Now, some folks are still optimistic, like Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says here, replying to Justin Slaughter about Harris, saying jumping to conclusions and assumptions about candidates purely based on political affiliation without any policy proposals is holding the crypto industry back, similar to how tribalism has for years. Vice President Harris is no stranger to Silicon Valley and has an incredible opportunity to provide a reset on critical issues for U.S. competitiveness like crypto regulation. I'll keep an open mind for now, but also agree that if she uses the same Elizabeth Warren-like rhetoric, then she has miscalculated the political liability that is Gary Gensler. So, look, I understand from a CEO standpoint, he has to kind of play both sides. So I understand where he's coming from. So I'm not going to, but I don't 100% agree with him because so far she has not put out the olive branch and she did not accept that Bitcoin conference opportunity. Now, Ryan Adams of Bankless says, I just spoke to Mike Novogratz. He's very confident Kamala Harris will flip pro-crypto. The most bullish possible world is for both presidential candidates to fight for us in an escalating game of pro-crypto one-upmanship. And he says he's going to publish an episode on Monday. So, look, Mike Novogratz is pretty well connected, but I hope he's right. Because once again, it's not that I'm supporting Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, but rather I want both parties to just take this off the table as some battleground, and crypto should not be a partisan issue. That is how it's going to have to move forward, because the more we battle out here, the more nasty it's going to get, and it's going to really hurt the entrepreneurs who need the clarity. If Democrats want to make it a partisan issue following Elizabeth Warren, they're going to lose. We saw they're losing in the courts. Gary Gensler is taking massive hits, and the crypto industry raised over $200 million to support pro-crypto candidates. So those who are against it have been spreading FUD and doing all kinds of nonsense, like Brad Sherman and Sherrod Brown and these clowns. They're going to get kicked out of office and they're going to lose elections. So as I've often stated, disruptive technology always wins. Now, guys, yesterday I told you I spoke to Cody Carbone of the Digital Chamber, and he told me that someone from the Senate was planning to introduce a bill this week that proposes the U.S. adding Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. Well, Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business confirmed it's Senator Lummis out of Wyoming, and she's planning to announce this legislation at the Bitcoin Nashville conference. So it's going to be a very interesting Friday and Saturday. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Donald Trump has to say on this matter, because I've often stated it's not so much Donald Trump or which person or whoever it is, but rather you have a presidential candidate embracing crypto. You have crypto popping up everywhere. It's becoming ubiquitous. And this narrative being put out there is incredibly bullish in a bull market. So exciting times, folks. This is really, really good. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and that is BitGo, which is one of the top crypto custodians out there in the market, guys. BitGo is headed up by Mike Belshey, who's a Web 1.0 and 2.0 legend. Many big companies use BitGo for custody, including Pantera Capital, Bitstamp, Bitcoin, IRA. Some of the services that BitGo offers includes hot wallets, custodial wallets, self-managed cold wallets, and NFT wallets. If you'd like to learn more about BitGo, go to bitgo.com. Link will be in the description. Now, folks, big news coming out of Coinbase. So we know tokenization is the future. I've often talked about it over the years that we're headed to the token economy, everything running on the blockchain, 24/7 trading markets, truly global markets, no more opening and closing bell with the stock market. That's what's coming, and it's going to open up secondary and tertiary markets. So Coinbase Asset Management plans tokenized money market fund, a hot area after BlackRock's BUIDL success. So this is a smart move by Coinbase as they expand their business footprint and offer different services. Base, which is their Ethereum layer 2, has been a massive hit and it generates a ton of revenue for them. So I'm assuming they may use Base as the layer for this, but let me give you the details. For Coinbase Asset Management specifically, this would represent an expansion of the company's already publicly known attempt to break into the tokenization space. In December, the company received in principle approval from an Abu Dhabi regulator to start tokenizing traditional assets on Base, the exchange's Ethereum scaling network. Two of the people familiar with the matter said Coinbase Asset Management has been working with Bermuda-based Apex Group to help facilitate its tokenized fund. Apex services over $3 trillion of assets across custody, administration, depository, and managed funds. Huge news, folks, and expect more Wall Street firms and crypto firms to start launching tokenization products and ecosystems and much more. So it's coming. It's exciting times. Now, speaking of Base, this is some very big news. On-chain platform on Base Network now lets US politicians receive crypto donations. Wow. Talk about bullish, guys. A new on-chain donations platform allows the US politicians to accept crypto. Supporters can choose from over 240 cryptocurrencies to donate through the platform. This is incredible news because we're seeing the embrace of crypto. I just mentioned earlier in the podcast about the $200 million that have been raised to support pro-crypto candidates. So really, really exciting stuff. So the platform also says that it collects the minimum amount of information necessary to fulfill compliance requirements, while a firm called Engage Raise is behind the platform. Coinbase Commerce powers its operations. Base's network's lead Jesse Pollock said on X. 13 politicians appear to have signed up to receive crypto donations, including known blockchain advocate Representative Tom Emmer and Senator Cynthia Lummis. The platform's sign up as a campaign button appears to onboard additional political campaigns to utilize its platform, while it notes that it is not attached to any specific political party. And it has larger implications because when we think about campaign finance reform and look, big institutions and corporations, they donate to different politicians, and oftentimes the politicians will do their bidding versus the bidding of the people. So I think in the future, we could see political donations go into blockchain where there's more transparency and there's more accountability. And I think that's important. Folks should know who's donating to who and all these things, because we need to make sure these politicians are serving us and not corporations. And don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-corporation or anti-business, but rather we need to make sure those corporations, their initiatives are not a direct conflict to the people and what the people want, and it's not aggressive or hurting the people in any way, whether that be economically, environmentally, and so forth, right? I hope you guys would get what I'm saying. So this is kind of the snowball starting to roll down the hill here, and I'm hoping in the future there's more transparency with voting and with campaign donations. So incredible stuff. Blockchain's going to solve a lot of problems and open up some new opportunities. Now, let's talk about some adoption news. Ferrari to accept Bitcoin and Ethereum payments in Europe. I think they know it's a bull market and higher prices are coming, and some people are going to use some of their crypto to buy, fancy cars and so forth. Personally, I'm not trying to buy a Ferrari or Lamborghini. I know that's been a meme for a long time, when Lambo, when Moon, and all these things. But, personally, I've learned to get past that. Where I take that money, I eliminate debt, and I give myself more financial freedom. I put more into retirement. Don't get me wrong. I spend some of that money, right? I go on a nice vacation, and do some upgrades to the house and so forth. And then I reinvest some of that money into other assets. And in addition, buying more crypto in the bloody bear market. So I don't go out and buy anything too crazy. Check this out. The Swiss creator of Proton Mail launches a self-custody Bitcoin wallet. It's amazing to see traditional companies getting involved with crypto, whether they're investing in it, putting it on their balance sheet, or they're tokenizing, building on-ramps, building wallet services, and much more. It's pretty incredible, guys. And it shows Crypto's here to stay and everybody's getting on board. Well, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Also, be sure to sign up for my free email newsletter on Substack. Link will be in the description. Also, grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. It's also available on Barnes and Nobles. Grab a copy to support the podcast. Buy a few copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. And if you bought a copy already, guys, please, please, please leave a rating and review. It would really help out my rankings. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.